We've got just one drink that we rule them all. Hope you'd remember your thoughts. At your Ulu feathers and your Middle-earth guns. A sonic screwdriver or a sword plus one. Use Valerian steel if it will get you to come. To the pitch tent. To the pit tent. The Rocky Mountain pit tent.
Hi, I'm Guy.
Hi, I'm Troy.
Hi, I'm Alex.
And this is, I have the wrong thing, Geek Tank.
Your Guy's brain-sized podcast.
Can y'all hear me? Like this audio cut out on my headset when the opening was going.
Oh, no, we can hear you just fine.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And I
We're
can hear
also
y'all.
noticing you're aimed a different direction.
Yes, my setup is different.
Dun-dun-dun. So, yeah, I thought I heard somebody opening a can, which
That's
was
what I thought I heard
new.
too.
That's weird because normally it mutes the sound in the background. So I was like,
That's what I thought as well.
huh.
Well, we should probably take care about what we say
You
and
start
do.
cursing in the background during the opening.
Can't believe that guy.
Stupid opening.
Play around with my lighting. Give me a sec.
So tonight we have the why are all of my alarms turned off? Is the question for tonight.
Why'd you
So I'm
turn all
sitting
your
there
alarms
going,
off?
I have no warning about what's going on here.
There we go.
Tonight is technical difficulties night, where Alex fusses with his lights and I fuss with my alarms.
Oh, before the show started, we were having trouble getting Alex's mic to be recognized by StreamYard.
Yeah.
There you go.
And there's other issues at work and such. It's just that kind of day.
Yeah. Technical Difficulties was the name of the public access show that the improv group that I eventually joined was doing.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. It was. I don't think I ended up on any of the episodes of that stuff, but I remember that's how I found them because I just finished high school, was going into college, was hanging out at my brother's place. We were watching PBS because there wasn't 1,000 channels to choose from, and saw his friend Dirk on stage with some other people doing improv, and it's the first time I'd ever seen improv. And I think they were telling like the 185 joke where they're in a line, and I was like, I could do that. That's your friend Brent, or that's your friend Dirk. You should.
That's our friend Brent.
Our friend Brent showed up, so Brent's name usurped the name Dirk in my story there. So I got in contact with him, and that's how I found out about improv. Auditioned for the group and joined it. So, but yeah, technical difficulties.
There you go.
So we didn't get to a thing last week that I thought I would make sure that we could get to this week
Tonight.
Yeah, and that was Alex's adventure with Persona Royale. No,
Persona 5 Royal.
Royal.
But I usually call it Royale because
Royale.
I'm a Pulp Fiction
That's right.
geek.
It's Persona with cheese quarter pounder.
Persona 5 Royale with cheese.
I hate
And
to
actually,
tell
I
you
made
this,
that
but
joke
that's
to
an
Nova,
episode of
but she
Star
didn't
Trek,
get it.
so it doesn't go there with my brain.
Hey, Alex.
But
Good to
she
see
went
you
with
another Alex.
cool. Yeah, she went with apparently the kids call cheese Ches these days. So she said Persona 5 Royale with Ches. So
Nice.
yeah.
So yeah, you finished that with your daughter.
Yeah, my daughter and I played that game. To a brief recap, it's 909. I've spoken about Persona games in general before, being that they're very Jungian in some of their world building, shadows and such, and personas being the mask that people wear, and which I guess harkens back to the ancient Greek theater. And then they Persona 3 and 4, which I played 3 most of the way through several times, and 4 they did a thing where they were actually doing very good on the Jungian aspects, where it's like, oh, well, no, this person that you're kind of rescuing from their inner landscape is doing a thing where they deny their shadow, and that's the boss fight begins, and it ends when they accept their shadow, because the more you deny your shadow, the more power you give to it. And I stopped playing that because there was a character that I was in their inner landscape. They were obviously coded as gay, and then the same thing happens. Like, I'm not this. This is not that. Fight. person accepts the shadow, and then it goes to another cutscene. It's like, nuh-uh, just kidding, punches shadow. I'm like, that's not how Jung works. That's dumb. You're dumb. Uninstall. But then, and then I've spoken of Persona 5 in particular, and in the way that it's a very strong sense of style from everything in it. Not only the character designs, but how the world is presented, how the menus are, and how you navigate through them. I really like it. Not only do I like the art style, it's because it's very easy to make games pretty these days. It's just very strong style. I really enjoyed it, and I think I've also spoken in the past about how it is a rated M game. It's mature, and I'm like, yeah, mature game, whatever. And once again, you're delving into these characters' inner landscapes, and the ones that you're delving into are these bad people, basically. The very first one is a high school coach, volleyball coach, who is physically assaulting some of his students and sexually assaulting others. And they don't show anything, but they show some of the aftermath and the decisions that some of the characters make, like trying to kill themselves. And then you're delving into their inner landscape, and there's like, oh, look, there's like all these statues of female body parts, and they are clothed, but still it's objectifying the human form, especially the female form. And so I was like, okay, I'll have to have a discussion with my 9 turning 10-year-old daughter about how this is not okay.
Right.
And and of course, she's 9 and 10 now, so it's like, this is not okay unless the person you're with is into it. I can't have that discussion yet. And but no, it was very cool, and we had to stop and talk about not only that, but on the meta level, it's like, yes, this character is very cool, and in the milieu of Psychonauts is amazing. The milieu of the meta context of like, okay, well, this character is very cool, and this is empowering costume for them as a character, but remember, these are characters made by people, and therefore have the associated baggage of being made by people. And there's been many other of the bosses are very similar to that. And we played it for 300 hours. Royal is the kind of like it came out like a year and a half after the original release with a different ending. The base game is there. They added a couple of new characters, so therefore more confidant options and more abilities, therefore. And it's a really, really good game. And when we got to the endings, one ending we were there, and it was, so the original ending, the 3 endings that we got, the major ones, really speak to different aspects of the human kind of, not exactly psyche, but very human desires, which actually fits in really well with the themes of the game. And it's the first Persona game I've really beaten because it didn't become a grind fest. They did things to mitigate that with more modern game design. It's just amazing. Like the first ending that you get really speaks to. I'm trying not to spoil things, though. I know it's a 6 or 7 year old game. But like the first ending is really, you take a deal by this powerful being, and that powerful being basically has like it's the people in society kind of give up their free will to it, and in you not combating it, you now can continue to be superheroes, even though it's kind of even though at first you were superheroes in trying to thwart this thing instead of trying to fight it, and you can fight it and continue on the game, but it's like, take this deal and you won't have to, and you kind of buy into that societal kind of thing. The second ending we got was very much it's a happy ending, but it is contrived, wherein like this another being is trying to make happy endings for everybody, basically, that it knows. But they, even in the small amount of time you have before you have to it offers you the deal twice. and you can deny it once and take it and still get the same ending, where it's happy, but there are conflicting notions of happiness. And in that brief time, you run into that where like people are like, well, basically this makes me happy, and this other person, well, that taking that from you makes me happy, and it's now being chosen what gives happy, what is going to be the happy ending for those people. And then of course it plays into the whole free will versus predestination thing.
I'm going to
And
show some images from it since you were talking about the art style.
oh yeah, it's beautiful. And then the final ending is extraordinarily bittersweet. It is the main character seen there in the center. He in the game, and he is a transfer student. He was trained for a crime. He was trying to help somebody, and one of the adults who he was thwarting pulled strings and connections and got him a probationary record now in juvie and stuff. So at the end of the true ending, as it's known, I think it you succeed. You succeed. Everybody loses their powers. And it's the end of the school year, and your record is cleared because of the things that you've done, but you are still leaving to go back home, and you leave your friends, and if you chose to, your girlfriend, and it's it hit really hard for me, being a military brat and having had to move a lot and leave friends behind. I know it's different. In the modern day, they're using cell phones and computers and stuff, so they can still keep in touch. But even I know it's not the same.
It's not the same.
And
Is this from the game or is this somebody's drawing?
that's in-engine cinematic is what that is by the look of things. Of course, like many games, it has cinematics that are in engine and then others that are pre-rendered, which looks slightly different. That is one of the animated cinematics, or from one of the animated cinematics.
Yeah,
it does look lovely.
Straight up.
Yeah, I mean, the game has its problems. It really does. But depending on how willing you are to look over them, it's a very enjoyable experience. I
guess
some of the problematic aspects are like they don't. It is a Japanese game from 6-7 years ago, so you play a male. There are only heterosexual romance options.
Mm-hmm.
You can make friends with characters of other genders, and they're all basically on the gender binary, male or female. There are a few transgendered characters. There's like one transgendered character I can think of. There's also a couple side characters that are homosexual, and their portrayal isn't great.
No, yeah, I can imagine.
I didn't think it was. The homosexual characters were more comic relief, which was annoying. But the transgender character, which may not be canonically transgender, may just be a cross-dresser. But maybe a cross-dresser. They didn't. They're treated with more respect and as a kind of a foil for another character that you're interacting with. Yeah, it was really cool, and the game really does take place in like what people's cognitions are and their desires and such. And
what's the deal with Morgana, the cat?
In non-spoiler, so
yeah, not
Morgana is a character.
How are you expecting to do non-spoiler?
So in a non-spoiler fashion, so there is the world there's the world that we exist in, and there's also what they call the metaverse in game. And Morgana in the game believes that they are a human being that has been transformed by the cognitions and mementos, and their their starting quest is to get to the bottom of why they're in this cat form.
Yeah, I like the art.
Art's super cool. It's a cool game. I only played it in English. I found that the voice acting was good. Some people didn't like it, but okay, just switch it to Japanese. No big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, Psychonauts is also somewhat similar in that you play an the levels are characters, inner landscapes, and such. The biggest problem with Psychonauts for accessibility is that it is an action platformer made by a studio that had never made an action platformer before. And so for the most part, it's really cool. And most people I know who really get into it played it for a while until they get to the final level.
Mm-hmm.
And the final level is brutally difficult if you are not savvy in the ways of action platformers. Because it is, like I said, it was made and designed by people who had never really done that kind of work before. Double Fine's a studio that was founded by Tim Schafer, who made a lot of the classic LucasArts video games, like Full Throttle and Monkey
Oh, I
Island
love Full
type
Throttle
stuff.
so much.
Yeah, he had a hand. He kind of made his bones doing those kinds of games. Yeah, they're good stuff. And yeah, that meat circus, it's a pain. I actually, because of, I don't know, my one of my gifts, I guess I'll just call it, is that I was able to sequence break the hardest part of the final platforming stage, just because I was like, oh, wait a second, looking around, I'm like, yeah, I can totally do that. And just skip massive portions of it, which was good, because I might not have beaten it myself if I had to keep on getting stomped in the nuts by it.
Fair.
Yeah, but yeah, no, Psychonauts is great. I haven't played the sequel yet. I want to. Yeah, the Rising Water. Yeah, exactly. No, Psychonauts is a great game. Persona 5 Royal was one of the best games I've played in the modern era, and stacked up against games of yesteryear, it's probably one of the best games I've ever played. Like I said, if those things that I told you about are not deal breakers, give it a shot. It's impressive.
There's a horror game called Eternal Darkness for GameCube. That's the first game I ever played where it messed with you, where it broke the fourth wall to mess with you. So it would do things like it would bring up the screen that you would normally see when you go into your memory card slot to go through and manage all your saved games. And it'd be like, are you sure you wish to delete your saved games? And no matter what you do to try to say no, it would keep like bouncing back to yes, and then make you think that you're deleting your saved games. So those kind of fun things. I thought that was
That's brutal, bro.
It's an interesting way to bring horror into a horror game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about Psychonauts, but I haven't played it. So
it also has a very strong sense of art of style and art direction. I would, if you don't like the art style, it will be a little bit hard to get into, because there is I guess to say, I don't know, it's just different. It's different. It's not realistic, and it's not, I don't know how to describe it. It's very, I don't know, a little bit like definitely like inspired by kind of Tim Burton type stuff of the day, but yeah, it's a cool game. And good stuff.
Well, neat. Have you bought the what's it called, Starfield yet, Guy? Is that the right name? The Bethesda game?
No. Haven't gotten. I just don't have the time for it at this moment. So, but I'm looking forward to playing Starfield at some point. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah. Since we're talking,
I have noticed that we've got City Skylines 2 is coming up, and so
I remember you mentioned
Humble
you bought a
Bundle
bunch of stuff.
just dumped a whole. Yeah, Humble Bundle just dumped a whole bunch of DLC for it for City Skylines 1. So now I've got, Japanese train lines and all kinds of stuff, which is just making me spend way too much of my free time messing with, trains and stuff, because that's just something. But yeah, Starfield
just,
Starfield's the one I'm after next.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna get it. It might be one of those I wait until next Christmas or like Christmas 2024 to get it when it drops in price. I was noticing there's like obviously Persona 5 is called Persona 5 because there's 4 other Personas before it.
Yes.
Is this 5 the one that you feel is most recommendable?
Yes. Even though I didn't get super far into Persona 4, it seemed like it was falling into some of the grindy aspects that kind of I would get bored of playing Persona 3 of. And one of the things that they really do that I really like is that in the previous games you have basically friendships, relationships, confidants is what they're called in 5. And so you have to spend time with these people. And sometimes you're helping them through some rough patches, or you're just like, I'm going to help this old couple kind of clean up their bookshop or whatever. And it's cool, and and it's satisfying on a role playing level. But in the 3 and 4, I never played 1 or 2, but in 3 and 4, it seemed like the characters that you were talking to, and this might just be the localizations and the translation, is that it'd be almost like you were code switching really hard to get the optimum path through the friendships. That seems, though there's still optimum paths through the friendships in 5, it does not seem to be quite as, I'm this person when I'm with this friend, and I'm this very different person with this other friend. They all seem to be a bit more cohesive. And in the previous games, basically, it's like you would get the bonus you would get for raising those friendships would be like as you raise them from 1 to 10 before you got to 10, and even when you get to 10, like when you created personas of their as what they call arcana, like in the tarot, then I'm making a persona of the sun tarot, and my sun relationship is level 4, so it's going to get some bonus XP and be a little bit better, yay. And they do that with part 5, but in the previous games your only real reward was getting it to 10. And then it's like, okay, not only do you get a lot of bonus XP, but now you've taken this to its farthest level, and now you will have access to create the most powerful persona of that arcana. Great, that's cool, but it takes a lot of work to do it. The 5th one, all of our confidants have a handful of abilities. So basically, like every other level or every 3 levels, you'll get something cool. And sometimes that cool thing is, oh, well, party members not in your parties will get more XP while you're doing fighting, so they don't lag behind. And sometimes that stuff will be, oh, this ability, like some of it, especially for party members, there's always like, this party member is now a good enough friend that they will totally like jump in the way of a lethal shot for you. Or you're close enough that if you don't down the enemy, then they have a chance to hop in and then automatically crit the enemy, doing a follow-up attack. And then there's other abilities like now this character will let you craft better stuff. Now this character, you've been hanging out with this character, and they know they're a cook, and they can now how to make better coffee and curry to take into the dungeons to heal yourself. Sometimes it's kind of a little bit silly, but it's like with all these different abilities, this was very cool.
Yeah.
And then for Royal in particular, there are a few characters, and in the original game there's 1, and in Royal there's 2 new characters, and those 2 new characters, in order to unlock the late game content, you have to have them at certain confidant levels as well. And
is there subway station travel or subway train travel in the game?
Yes, there is.
I happen to find a map, and I think it's the subway map that I just found.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep, how to get to Seaside Park from Shinagawa.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes, I would recommend that. And I don't remember how I found it, but if you look up like Beginner's Guide to Persona 5 Royal, there's like maybe 10 things. They're like, make sure you've got a book on you. make sure you check things out because there's little bonuses all over the place that can help out your character.
Nice.
And also one of the things is like just take it easy. Like if you want to do like a single playthrough, it is possible to get everything on your first playthrough, quote unquote, with like saving and branching paths and coming back and everything. But it is admittedly to everybody who talks about it, it's a slog. Unless playing by spreadsheet and game guide is your jam, don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy your game. There, even on the bad ending, the first bad ending that Nova and I did get that, and I was like, because we didn't get our confidants all the way up, and I'm like, let's restart. We get to keep all our social skills up. We get to keep all our money and our equipment and everything. But let's restart. And I couldn't say we'll play it like Groundhog Day because she's never seen that movie yet.
She's never seen the movie.
But I could say, and then we'll play and we'll role play it as though we know what's happening. Like this thing happened, we got that ending, and now we've been sent back again to try again. Mm-hmm. To defeat the big bad and stuff, and we really enjoyed it. I said 300 hours of gameplay, and true, some of that was a little bit grindy, but the grind is not nearly as bad as is in previous games. Especially if you have your confidants all the way up, you can really just smash through the grind of leveling up your personas and stuff. It's really quite easy. Highly recommend. Oh, look, we missed our sponsors.
Oh,
that's all right. This has been cool. I'm ready when you are. Okay, everybody. Geek Tank is sponsored by Kieran Games, Geekway Homes, and your
mom. Plus another sponsor who I forget.
Do Gooder Games.
Do Gooder Games. Mom.
Do Gooder, not worser.
Do mom what? Anyway. Mm-hmm. But no, I thought it was very well done. And when you look at like the ratings, it's like best JRPG of the year, best RPG of the year, all this stuff. And for those who don't know, sorry, the Persona games are like part it's all JRPG, but it's a blending of we're high schoolers who are fighting this thing, and also we're high schoolers having to deal with high school and study for exams.
So awesome. Often they would overlook that part of Buffy.
Yeah.
It says there's rumor, but nothing confirmed that for Persona 6 there might be a female player option, but it's only rumor.
Yeah,
that would mean that I could play Persona 6.
You're capable of playing it without that.
I will be capable.
Anyway. No, there is one of the versions of Persona 3. Originally hit was originally on PlayStation Portable, the PSP. They one of the things you can do in that one is play as a female protagonist.
That's cool.
So then some of the options change, the romance options change, yada yada.
So far I haven't heard of any game besting Mass Effect as far as relationship options go for characters in games, but I'm sure someone's coming along the way. Possibly, I don't know if the new Baldur's Gate has picked up that torch and ran with it or not.
Mm-hmm.
But cool. I've been hearing good things about Baldur's Gate 3.
Same.
All of them from Kevin.
No, I've heard from other people too.
I didn't know Kevin was playing Baldur's Gate. So
Kevin's totally into Baldur's Gate. He's just stuck there.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
It's very funny.
Let's see. Cool. Yeah, I thought I had another question, but it's gone.
All right. And
yes.
Leisure Suit Larry.
Leisure Suit Larry and the Land of the Lounge Lizards.
That was fun in the 80s.
It was, and it was like this thing.
It was fun in the 80s when we were like but nobody barely pubescent.
That's right.
And it was so funny because I remember that one because that was one of those where it was like, there's this game and it's like full of naked people and it was called Leisure Suit Larry. And I'm like, oh, cool.
If you don't use a condom, you die.
Yeah. It was like really funny. So I just humored by that game all the time.
Cool.
Fun. Yeah, I recently we weren't able to do the Project Zomboid. I was thinking of Planet Terror.
Sweet.
But weren't able to do Project Zomboid the party thing I wanted to do because I only had 2 other people that were lined up. You already had something going on, so I knew you weren't going to be able to do it,
Sorry.
Alex. No, so, but James forgot and just scheduled something right in the middle of it. It's like, damn it! And then one of my kiddos got sick, and I didn't want to have people actually over while they were sick.
Right.
So I'm like, you know what? Let's just reschedule this. But the kid who was sick also really wanted to play and was disappointed people weren't going to be showing up. And I said, you know what? Why don't you and I just take out the mod for a test run and see how it goes? Because we were going to play a mod that actually has an ending, so we'd have a target to go for. Because Project Zomboid is about survival and not about reaching an end goal. It's not built into the game, so you have to kind of come up with your own goals in the game. There's a mod made where you have to get from point A to point B, and along the way find a military grade walkie-talkie, get to the highest point on your target point, call for the helicopter, and then hold out until the helicopter shows up to rescue you. And it's like, cool, let's do that. So I set the settings on it to be more forgiving for us since it was our first time going through. I didn't want to like die in the first 10 minutes of the game and not see how it works. And for the most part, getting there wasn't too hard because I had stuff set pretty easy. When we got to the place, we discovered that both of us had different locations on our assignments, and we chose to just go with the location that it gave me. We get to the top, we activate the radio, and with it, it's like you have to wait for 190 minutes, but it's 190 minutes game time, not real life time. So it was really
Oh,
like
thank God.
every minute was
Yeah, I
like
was gonna say, like, I'm not gonna sit there and just stare at people
yeah,
for.
it was like, so that would have been 100, so it would have been like 1,900 seconds because each minute was like 10 seconds of real time. But like within the first minute, we hear just hordes of zombies swarming the building. And we're like,
Just cause.
oh, well, because the helicopter's coming, so they're attracted to the sound, I guess is the idea.
Oh, that makes sense. I
Um,
guess that makes sense.
so
Except
so
that the helicopter's like over there.
yeah, it's not taking a half hour to land on top of the building. But we create this bottleneck in the stairwell, and we're just beating all the zombies that are coming up. And he figures out that the zombies, although they will attack him, they were specifically targeting in on me. So when I would run out to like reload, the zombies would go back down the stairs and go like underneath of the spot where I was standing at in the building. And it's like, it was a user made mod, so I've got to give it a little leeway. So so I'm like, you know what? Let's not use that to our advantage because that'd be lame. So I just went and stood on the stairway to make sure they would all come up. And we were just it was really intense because we were running out of ammo. We were taking turns reloading. A couple of times we didn't coordinate very well, so we're both reloading, and it's like, oh no, where'd my bullets go? I got the wrong bullets for this gun. So quickly like dropping bullets for each other so we can pick it up. And our melee weapons deteriorate when you use them, so they were running down, and we're getting to the point where we're like, I don't know if we're gonna make it, and managed to pull back. And after the first wave, it actually got a little less. I think they just throw all the zombies at you that's in the area, and then once you clear them out, the other zombies either are too far away or maybe they didn't pick up on it. But it gave me the option. It said, helicopter's here, do you want to be rescued? And I clicked yes, and then that's it, the game's just over. There's no like ending screen or congratulations, and then he got booted from the server.
Should be like a fake Contra art.
Yep. But for the most part, I thought it was kind of neat because it did give you an actual ending to the game.
Right.
He suggested that because there's a setting you can put in the game to make the zombies be random as to whether they're slow, medium, or fast. And so you don't know if that zombie's going to come sprinting at you or not. And I'm like, yeah, that would definitely make it harder and not make it even less of a game for a guy, because all of a sudden now you have a jump scare zombie that's sprinting at you from across the street.
Hey, Ron Ralph, not sure what you're trying to say there. Hopefully you were here for my
I'd have to bomb out of that one.
Mini dissertation on Persona 5 Royal.
Do I have to run that through the Google translation?
No, I think it's it seems like part of it is at least like a keyboard typing in.
Google gods.
And no, typing in the your fingers are not quite placed where you think they are.
Yep.
But no, we know the real Rotten Ralph. Or we know Rotten Ralph IRL. So.
Yes.
So. Yeah, like thinking about what else are geeky stuff happening. I'm gonna the new Castlevania series is coming out,
No.
and it is based on the best of the classic Castlevania games. That would be the Rondo of Blood,
Ooh.
and it's the one.
Wasn't
It's
that one
actually
really hard to beat?
yeah, that game is it. You remember like when you first played when we first played Diablo 1,
Right.
and we take our characters with their amazing quads down into the dungeon, and you get swarmed by like 3 little tiny demons, and they kill the shit out of you
Yep.
because you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Right.
Well, the Rondo of Blood, every encounter, there was such care taken in it that every encounter with even the lowliest enemies from Castlevania games will kill you if you are not paying attention. And your move set is limited. Not as limited as the classic Castlevania games, but not nearly so much as the Symphony of the Night Metroid style ones, or the more modern kind of Devil May Cry God of War style. And that the game is hard,
Mm-hmm.
and it is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It scratches that itch perfectly for me. I've full completed a few times. But yeah, no. So it's based off that, and it's going to be taking place during the French Revolution, and it's going to be. It looks cool. We'll
Yeah.
see. Like I really enjoyed the first Castlevania series that Netflix did, based off of Dracula's Curse, and I have high hopes for the new one.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah. Oh, also, if y'all are Symphony of the Night fans, the beginning of Symphony of the Night, when you're playing as the vampire hunter versus Dracula, and the original translation is like, "What is a man? A miserable pile of secrets." That is the end of the Rondo of Blood, but reconfigured to be, "Hey, you can actually beat it," so you can get to the rest of Symphony of the Night. Because if they made it as difficult as it is in the original game, like 1% of the people playing it would have ever gotten to see the rest of Symphony of the Night. Maybe.
There was, looks like it might have just been print and play. I don't know if it was official, but there was a board game of Castlevania.
What?
Unofficial fan-made board game based on Castlevania series, previously available to download as a free-to-print and play until Konami demanded in November 2018 that it be taken down.
Yeah, Konami does
Yeah.
shit like that. Which is
Game-
really funny
yeah.
because like Konami seems to be intent on just shitting on the IP. Just
I always feel like there are a certain
turds.
number of people who do that kind of thing. Like you'll see companies where you're like, you've got the perfect IP and you mess it up. I mean, I feel
It's
like a good example of this one is Big West. Sometimes just really does not Big West, but Harmony Gold, the lockdown with Macross and Robotech always makes it so that they've got like this awesome thing with Robotech and Macross, and we don't get any of it here, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, so we have someone talking about how the PS1 had a great game of Castlevania that you're probably thinking of Symphony of the Night. And to be completely fair, I love that game.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, and my design sensibilities, that game is Metroid with a Castlevania skin. It's beautiful. It's well designed. The soundtrack is amazing. I listen to the soundtrack all the time. But it is a Metroid game. Access to a certain part of the map, you get stuff, abilities, you get more parts. Very Metroid. But it's great. I mean, and like I said, I'm not shitting on it. Like, I've literally beaten that game from new game to watching the credits over 1,000 times. I could probably beat it in even today if you put me in front of whatever version, so the load times aren't terrible. I could probably beat it in like 2 hours without even trying. Yeah. It's but no, it is a good game. I know on PlayStation 1 they also came out with a few other versions. This is like one of my weird core fandoms, sorry. Not sorry. Like they came out with like a re-release of like one of the original Demon Castle Dracula arcade game and stuff like that. But yeah, no, Symphony of the Night, good game. But it is in some ways like I'm not saying they made it too accessible, but they did really fundamentally change the Castlevania game design ethos for it, um, which is a little bit of a shame. Though there are, I mean, when you first play Symphony, you're probably going to get into a bunch of situations where you get your ass killed. So that's good. I'm here for it.
So, follow up on this, since I've just been sort of digging around here, I found this post on Reddit. This person was asking, I remember having a print and play board game, but the website is no longer up. Can anyone point me in the right direction of the Castlevania board game? And this was 3 years ago, and first answer underneath was, "Hi, I designed the game. I am always glad to see people still interested in it. Anytime this comes up, just in case Konami happens to see it, I always feel like I should poke in and make it clear that anywhere you find the game files now, including on Tabletop Simulator, has nothing to do with me. I deleted the entire website and removed the files from anywhere they were uploaded at that time. I just don't want them thinking I'm still distributing it under the radar or anything. I haven't uploaded a single file from the game anywhere since they contacted me. That aside, I am working on a sort of rethemed sequel of the game. Obviously, it's not going to be Castlevania this time, but if you're interested, I'll be posting info about once again further along, blah, blah, blah." And then underneath that, this other person posted, "Here's the Google Drive to the game."
Yeah. Yeah, we're right now Nova and I are doing kind of palate cleanser, playing an action platformer named Shantae Half Genie Hero, which is almost like a reboot of the Shantae series. And it's fun, but it's like I've seen these situations a million times, so like I dived a couple of times, but it's cool. But afterward I'm probably gonna be playing Iga is what the main I don't know what to call, almost like showrunner, game runner of the Castlevania series from Symphony of the Night onward for a long time. And so he crowdfunded a game named Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, and I actually have that game. I helped kickstart that, and so I'll probably play that because tis the season. We're after the autumnal equinox. Halloween's coming up. I mean, I'm into the
Cube.
gothic-esque horror, Byronic.
Isn't this the month Goth
Milieu.
Cube's happening?
What happening?
The Goth Cube. The Ravnica Cube. Weren't you going to do a Cube game?
Oh yeah, no, we're totally gonna do. I think for part of a friend of ours' birthday tide, we're gonna be doing a Magic the Gathering. I've got a set cube that I'm gonna put into the, what are they called? The cube imajigs.
Yeah.
Reusable packs. Yeah, I have them right there.
Is that this the birthday tide that's coming up in like the next week or two? That one, or
I think this birthday tide was requested for early December.
okay.
We still, I mean, whatever.
Well,
No, don't make me play Shadows over
random
Innistrad
game.
queue with friends of mine. But no, yeah. So looking forward to that. The gothic horror thing. There is a game that I talked to Guy a little bit about named Stray Gods. That sounds really cool. It's a musical game, but not like a rhythm game musical, I don't think. But it's role playing, and it's we'll get back to that one, Donald. Give me a second. But there is a game named Stray Gods, and you are a human who dies in the presence of a muse, and you inherit their powers. And then the rest of the Greek pantheon, that's still around, tries to incorporate you into it. But because you're a muse and you don't have full control of these powers, they start breaking into song and dance. And you do a role playing game and stuff, and they do these kinds of things where they you help create the songs and everything, and the tones, and it's supposed to be really, really good. Yeah, Hot Goth Girl. There is a game named Romancylvania, which is I haven't played it yet, but I hear it's really good, where you play as Dracula and you've been hiding from the world since your wife died, and now you're going back into the world and hitting the dating scene of like this dating game kind of thing. It's supposed to be cool. Sins of the Father. That game does sound familiar. I don't think I played it though. But I don't know. What other games are y'all looking forward to, or cool getting into the spooky season stuff? Sorry. Monopolize.
No,
I
you
wanna-
can monopolize. It's all
I was
good.
gonna set up. Actually, I have the board set up for Zombie Side at some point, so people could come over and play. Since I really like that co-op zombie fighting game.
Mm-hmm.
Probably might actually set up the Western version since that's the latest one that I got, and I don't think the Asian themed version is going to be out yet. I think that's called something Winter. But yeah, they of course have a Michelle. They always knock off IP in that they can get away with. So they have a Michelle Yao character, and then I'm like, yep, backed. But backed it anyway. It's like playing Michelle Yao killing zombies, my man.
The worst ways to spend an evening.
White Death, okay. Sounds like a rap band. Right. So yeah, Zombicide White Death. So it's the sequel to the medieval fantasy one, and this time it brings it to biting cold. So yeah, they've got they cross over into animal characters. So you have like basically a Kazenti, but like a tiger guy in samurai armor.
Right.
So they definitely. I was wondering which direction they were going to take it next. If I would be interested, because when they did the Marvel zombie stuff, I'm like, meh, I'm not interested in that.
Mm-hmm. So the Werewolf by Rage Throne. I don't. I mean the card game. I don't think it's been around for a long time. I think if anyone's inherited White Wolf, they're probably still doing a werewolf part of their World of Darkness. But I don't even think they're still around.
I remember having some of the vampire, the ones from the vampire card game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's still Jihad, and it was named Vampire: The Eternal Struggle. Yeah,
Jihad, yeah, I've got a Jihad deck somewhere. Never played.
A friend of mine, the game's supposed to be like about politicking and everything, and like doing stuff and trying to make deals. And he made a deck. His name is Ben. He made a deck named Ben Loves Combat. And since no one else was building combat decks, he just waffle stomped us. Like, God damn it, Ben.
Like, we're here to have a debate.
Yeah. And like they had a thing, like usually combat in the games, just like if you had two vampires fighting, it would be like, I hit a palpable hit, and now you two shall continue on your way. So we put all these cards in, like, which would call, I believe it was press, which means the fight keeps going on. It's like, I hit you, and then I flip around behind you, and then I hit you again. I'm like, God damn it.
That's funny.
Yeah, lots of people like the old D10 systems for that World of Darkness did. Yeah, they had like it was Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf the Apocalypse, Mage the Ascension.
Yeah, that's right.
Prometheus the Created, Changeling the I don't remember what.
You've gone past where I started.
They had all these different games that like could theoretically exist in the same universe. And in some ways, it was actually kind of cool. Like it's just like, I don't know, like the more you like they do Marvel stuff, it's like, yeah, here's the Eternals, and then here's this, and of course there's Thanos, and it's like, man, I remember like whenever runs into ever mentions or thinks about, it's like, yeah, that one like weird vampire killer is like keeping the world from being overrun by vampires like single-handedly. Maybe we should help him. Nah. And it's like, stuff like that. That's hilarity. It could help Blade out, but nah.
Yeah. all these white superheroes.
Maybe not.
That's a Blade problem. That's not our problem.
Right.
Yeah. What was it? Yeah, I lost track. They were supposed to be redoing Blade with a new actor to make it fit into the MCU, but I've lost track of if anything ever happened with that.
Yeah.
They did a TV show that wasn't too bad, but they didn't have
way.
Yeah, they didn't have Wesley Snipes for it. They had somebody else, and that at first, of course, was hard for me to get past because in my mind, Wesley Snipes is Blade. That's just all there is to it.
The
Right.
first
It's gonna
movie's
be
so
hard to
good.
get that.
It is, and it's so it took me a few episodes to kind of accept that another actor was stepping into the shoes. Same thing's going to happen if they ever redo Iron Man, because Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man in my head. But once I got past that, it wasn't too bad for a TV show.
That's cool.
But yeah, this is really what I'd love to have seen is the way that they did such great jobs with the Netflix things with the Punisher and stuff. They should have taken over a Blade series, because they could have done a really good job
It was
with
so
it.
good.
Yeah.
Now I'm regretting they never did a Blade series. Like, wow.
Because pull out all the stops, make it hard R, go for it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like, whew. Blade. See, I thought Blade 2 was horrible, and Blade 3 just leaned into camp, which I was okay with. I mean, I love Army of Darkness for the love of God. So people's elbowing Dracula. I'm here for it.
It's so funny.
Blade and Punisher would team up.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it.
And
Or at
that's
least depends. Yeah.
I was just gonna say Blade 3 was where Deadpool joins in.
Yeah.
Because Ryan Reynolds basically played Deadpool.
Yeah. But no, I remember. I think it was Blade 3 where that's one with Donnie Yen in it, right?
Yeah.
The Blood Pack and all that. Yeah. I was like, I'd never seen him in anything before, and I'm watching the Blood Pack, and I'm like, oh, I cannot wait to see that guy use that katana, and he punked, and I'm like, sadness. And then I see him in other stuff that you showed me. I'm like, what the fuck were they thinking?
Watch the staff fight in Hero with Jet Li and Donnie Yen.
Yeah, or watch Dragon Inn.
Dragon Inn.
For the love of God. Yeah. Oh, Army of Darkness is amazing. But yeah, no, actually, I know we only have a few minutes left, but I throw those things we mentioned Punisher. I am a huge Punisher fan from the 80s. And I am really annoyed. It's not so prevalent anymore, but it's still around where the far right has co-opted the Punisher skull and all that. And it's fuck you guys. You guys are fucking missing the goddamn point. And but I watched the Punisher series because he was in Daredevil. I'm like, okay, Punisher's Frank's being Frank. I get this. I'm here for it. And then they start the Punisher series. I'm like, I'll watch this. Sure, why not? What are they gonna do? And they're like, he didn't kill everyone the first time around. I'm like, I've seen this a million times before. Why? But then they start getting into it, and I'm like, okay, this is sweet, and this is cool, and they're doing stuff. And at the end of it, I don't know if anybody else here made it to the end, but they're like, okay, well, Frank is supposed to hang out with Microchip and his family, and he doesn't show up. And Microchip and his wife are like, oh, I hope he's not going out killing people. But we can't stop him if he is. And I'm like, oh, no. And then it's it shows Frank with his friend at the vet group. And I'm like, I have never seen this version of Frank Castle. A Frank Castle that's trying to get help. Right. That's trying to help other people get help. That's going to have good days and bad days, but still has relationships and friendships. I'm like, as far as I'm concerned, that's the end of the Punisher. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's so cool. And then people are like, they're making a Punisher too. I was like, not in my universe, they're not. I'm never going to watch a single goddamn second of it. I'm not going to watch the trailer. I'm not going to put it on my queue. Fuck that. Punisher season 1, that's where it ends. So
yeah, they did a terrific job with all those.
Yeah,
except for Iron Fist. But
Iron Fist had some decent stuff in it. I did watch it all, but man, the guy who played the character Iron Fist is kind of a dumbass.
Yeah,
that was the hardest thing for me to get over. How much of a dumbass he was. Why isn't this working? Because it hasn't been working. Why do you think it's going to keep working? They framed me for this and that. Why are they still trying to do this? Fuck me over. Because you're a dumbass and you let them.
Yep.
It's like
I will back what Brent says. Donnie Yen is awesome in John Wick 4.
Dude, Donnie Yen is just awesome.
That's true.
The only thing I've ever seen him be shitty in wasn't his fault.
No, It wasn't.
And when he was just walking around, he was awesome.
I wonder if he ran into the same thing that Jackie Chan ran into, where it's like, we can't let you do that for insurance reasons.
Probably.
Yep.
That was before they let, American action stars be awesome.
All right. Well, guys got a thing to do, so I guess we should wrap it up. Thank you everybody for joining
Weird.
us.
Weird.
Sorry we couldn't engage with you, Rotten Ralph. Not sure what was happening there. But,
No, lost them, didn't we?
no, there's a second response that it
Yeah, I
wasn't
know, but we kind of.
Which one's Endgame?
Kind of seemed to.
in the game.
Which one's Highlander Endgame? Which one's that?
Wasn't that the horrible one where they tried to make them like aliens or something?
Is
or
that
was
the one with
something
Mario
different?
Van Peebles? Or Highlander 2 is the alien one?
Okay, yeah, so that's the one we don't talk about. I have to look it up now.
I'm not even sure if I've seen Endgame, so I can't say that. I can't speak to it. I'm sorry. Interruption.
Yeah. Oh well.
I think that.
Okay.
Yeah. Well. Anyway,
All right.
Didn't see
we
it.
should probably move on.
Yeah, guy's ready to move on.
I'm ready to move to my show.
He's ready.
I got work to do.
He's
But
got to
that's-
get to work.
Weird. That's all the time we've got for today. Thank you all for joining us tonight. And I've been Guy.
I've been Troy.
I've been Alex.
And this is Geek Tank.